Hi everybody, it's Rachel. This is my week 15 discussion post. I'm just going to start with the first speech that was listed, the Martin Luther King speech. I feel that that was one of the iconic speeches out of all of them. It was kind of more towards the whole we need equal rights. I feel to a point that Martin Luther King would be proud of what we have become. But to another point, I feel that he would have tried to help us go a different route. I feel that there's still a lot of racism in the world, that there needs to be less. I mean, granted, it depends on how you're raised and things like that. I feel he would have been a big person to help with that if he wouldn't have gotten killed. But with his assassination, I feel it also rose up the third, no, Robert F. Kennedy. That was another one that I saw that linked back to Martin Luther King. It was a speech about his assassination, Martin Luther King's assassination. So I feel that with the way that congressman or senator, I'm not quite sure what he was, went about with that speech, I feel helped along trying more of a positive route. Granted, with a lot of the people that did end up going on and pursuing the rights and stuff like that have things jaded a little bit in their heads, that they were more, let's get this done with force, not with what Martin Luther King wanted. So that's what I mean, that he would help us more. It would have been more towards the caring, loving side more than the aggressive, it has to be done now side. But for the Martin Luther King speech, that was overall my outlook on it. The next speech, I believe, was, let's take a look here. The next speech, which is in an odd order, the next speech I'm going to talk about wasn't the next one on the list. I'm going to talk about Robert F. Kennedy, his speech. It was more of a remembrance speech of Martin Luther King and what he wanted. Like I said, at the end of the Martin Luther King reflection, he wanted us to go towards, Robert Kennedy, along with Martin Luther King, wanted us to go towards the sign of care and passion and compassion and togetherness, but it was jaded through other events that have occurred to this, Martin Luther King passing and then Robert Kennedy being assassinated 63 days after he made the speech about Martin Luther King's death. But I feel he was a very good speaker. He did a lot of pausing for like cheering and things like that, and I found that that was really good. The next speech is the Reagan speech. I found that this was a really good one because it kind of showed that our presidents, I haven't watched a lot of president speeches, which I probably should, that they also care about the well-being of their country. Now, granted, this was a while back and things like that, so some things have been changed and jaded and things like that. That, it was, togetherness. He was mourning the loss of the crew that was going to go up into space and how they had their tragic deaths, and that even though they did die, that they died for a cause, and that they went on to pursue, space so that we could all learn and things like that. So I felt he was very, what's the word I'm looking for? Concerned for everyone's well-being and honors them and compassionate and things like that as a speaker. The one thing that I didn't really like is that he was sitting the whole time. It's better, I feel, if you move around or at least change your positioning a little bit, talk with your hands maybe, make it a little bit more interesting. I feel if it wouldn't have been a memorance speech like it was, it would have been harder to watch because of the fact he was interested and concerned and had compassion in his voice, but he didn't seem too terribly interested in, like, he didn't have not enthusiasm, he didn't have the gumption, I guess you could say, to really dig deep into, certain things that probably could have been, I mean, he had to keep his composure because, yes, it was sad, but he was the president and he had to do things. But that, I mean, that's just my own opinion. Everyone's speeches, I'm sure, through the years, regardless of if you're president or not, gets better as they go. We all have mistakes. We're only human. And then the final one, which out of all of the 4 that I'd watched, was, I feel, the Martin Luther King and this Ellen one. They were louder. You could hear them. They had volume and they really used their voices to get to the people in the back. That the other ones, I kind of felt like they needed to be louder. But with this Ellen DeGeneres one, it was, out of all of them, I feel it was the best. It was the most creative and fun. I'm glad it was the last one I watched because the 2 in the middle were kind of sad. She was just getting a commencement speech for a graduating class of 2009 in a college. And I like how she ended it with a song, kind of making it upbeat and fun. She moved around, she made jokes. It was kind of more of a roast in a way. I feel she did a very good in this speech. And like I said, we're only human, we all make mistakes. So, I don't know. But overall, I think all of these speakers showed, gumption, and they did care about what they were talking about and things like that. So overall, I think they did awesome, and those are very memorable speeches in my mind now, and I am glad I watched them. But that is my Week 15 discussion. If you guys have any questions or concerns, go ahead and comment below, and I will let you guys know what's going on. All right, thanks. Bye.